Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Tar Podcast.
Yep, long time no see. We've been playing hooky. Actually, we've been a lot of things going on, and this is what podcast number 28.
28. The last one was a great one. Unfortunately, nobody will ever see it.
Well, some people may not know why. So it was,
We interviewed Al Lawrence with Southwest Q's.
and it was really cool. There was
It
some
was
really
awesome,
good
man.
information, and
It was awesome. Unfortunately, for whatever reason, some people said they would prefer if we took it down. So we always try to
professional
respect.
courtesy. Yeah, sure.
People. So we took it down.
Well,
Hopefully, maybe at some point in the future we can get.
Yeah. Well, some people
Do
got to watch
something,
it, so they got to learn a lot of the inside info.
Yep.
I mean, Al's pretty knowledgeable. He's been there for, I don't know, 25 years, 20 years, something like that. So, originally from Paducah, Kentucky.
But on to, that was our last podcast up was 26th in August. Lots happened. Let's just go ahead and jump into what's going on right now, because there's a lot.
Oh, there's nothing going on out there.
Yeah,
It's just boring. There's
it's
just
nuts.
nothing going on.
It's crazy talk.
Well, let's go over a couple of easy things first. If you happen to be in Vegas, the International Q Collectors Show is the ICCS is going to be at Red Rock Casino. You've been to a couple of them.
Yes.
I never have been.
Yeah. You'll love it.
I'm going to be at this one. I used to have a huge collection. I no longer do. Sold it out about 15 years ago. But
And by the way, Mark likes to just randomly leave paper behind him
I was
wherever he
asking if that
goes.
was your picture. I'm trying to get you credit for the picture of the Billiards Digest back cover
There you go.
of Mr. Shane breaking them with a cue ball in the air.
Single-handedly.
So anyhow, that's taking place November 3rd is the, I guess it's just a one-day deal. Huh?
Yes, Saturday. Generally, the way the ICCS works is sometimes they have like a Thursday outing, golf or something like that. Friday they have a collectors only show, and collectors and displaying cue makers only, ICCS members, I guess. And then Saturday they open it to the public.
Right, and it's only $10 if you happen to be here. I
Yeah.
mean, this is just information because I think it's cool. They've raised
It's really cool.
cue making to the art level, and they do a theme cue. Don't they have like everybody make a?
They've changed that.
Gambler
At
this
one
year?
point, they did. The way it used to be was they would announce a theme. The cue makers would build the cue to the theme, and then the whole collection would be put up.
Yeah, 'cause you have like 10
And generally what would happen is a collector would commission. Basically, he would guarantee
Yeah.
X amount of dollars
Well,
for each cue.
yeah, some of this stuff is going to be pretty high
And
end.
it's really interesting, and that's changed. Will Prout's taken over from Bill Stroud, and administering, running the ICCS, and so he's moving some things around, and it's going to be cool.
Yeah. On other things, there's a nice one-pocket tournament going on in Phoenix this weekend. In fact, it starts tomorrow at 6 o'clock at Bull Shooters. And if anybody cares, I will be down there, but I'm not playing because I can't get there in time to do this and that and everything. And I haven't hit a ball.
So
in
book your
long.
flights.
Yeah, you can come down and watch Mark Not Watch. But it's, I like to see what they're doing. Lenny's helped put this thing together with the people. And Trace Kane, is the promoter. Lenny will be there doing the streaming. Trace Kane has reached in his own pocket and made this thing happen. It is a U.S. Open one-pocket qualifier, and the Bates family, who own Bull Shooters, picked up that expense. So I'm just going to go down to support him and give somebody hell. I'm just not sure who yet.
Well,
actually,
if you're going to support him, why don't you pay your money and play in it?
I can't get there in time. I haven't hit a ball. Come on, give me a break.
Excuses.
I can beat you.
You know what excuses are like?
Is there a punchline there somewhere?
Yeah, well,
Okay.
he's going to support it by not actually putting any money in.
I'll buy him some drinks. Maybe who knows?
You're going to drive all that way, you might as well just play.
You know how many balls I've hit?
Like it would make a difference.
Oh, no, wait a minute. It will make a difference. Yeah.
Dead money's dead money.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. I like to take a bite out of somebody sometime. Okay, well, we hit that thing. U.S. Open is coming up on the 21st through the 27th later on this month.
Next week,
Yeah, well, this is the 11th.
basically. So,
It's
well,
10 days.
yeah.
I had a little chat with Barry, and normally Barry and I don't talk that often, but we were talking on some issues.
Are you still barred from Virginia?
No, I think that's been lifted.
Yeah.
But but it was really interesting. Some of the things he explained he's doing. They have built their own seating, so they no longer have to play this humongous amount of renting. But the venue this year is in 3 separate rooms. All 3 rooms will have electronic scoreboards of all the tables, ball count and game count. And they're naming the rooms.
Ball count.
Well, like if you're, well, score count, I guess I should say. Yeah, I'm just thinking one pocket again. So, but just by game, I guess. And that's kind of interesting because, you know, that was one of the fears. If you're in this room, how do you know what's going on in the next room? So that'll be interesting. They're going to be naming the rooms. And if anybody out there wants to have a room named after them, that you can talk to Barry. And it's, I know Tweetins is one room. They were talking to me about doing one room, but there isn't real value for what we do to going to an event like that. But I think it's some great potential. And he made it sound like it's going to be it's a nice venue, and he's pretty excited about it all. And he's not too excited about doing ABP arguments, but he's not even discussing it anymore at this point. I think he's made up his mind. I really
too late.
don't know what it is. Well,
What are you going to do?
the ABP, this whole thing of, and I'm not going to get into it a lot. I mean, if you want to talk to me sometime,
bet?
give me a call. No. It's just so wrong the way things have come down. And there's no excuse for it.
Whoever's making the decisions is
Well,
just.
you know who it is.
Well, if it's Charlie and nobody's giving him any counsel, I just can't. You know, I've met Dennis Walsh. He's the one. He's the guy signing his name to this.
He did, and I reamed him out a little bit on one of those threads. And it's just like, he's an attorney. You know, the main thing is, everybody needs to understand how these things interact. Like, what are BCA points? Well, what are ABP points? Of course, that's a good question. What are ABP points? They're nothing. They're just a group of people say, we're going to track points. That doesn't give them the authority to use events that aren't their own events.
Right.
But the main thing is, there is a world organization called World Pool Billiard Association, WPA, and they have, I believe it's five federations of different continents. Now, it needs to change, but that's really what they have right now. And the BCA, the Billiard Congress of America, is the North American, that's Canada and the U.S., representative. In the other countries, like in Europe, they're called federations. For some reason, this one has never been addressed as a federation. I don't know why. But so the BCA's job, that's their responsibility, is to track the players' performances, and that is supposed to earn them the rights to go to the world tournaments. It's just a process. And people said, well, why do the BCA want the points? It's not a matter of do they want them. They have to have them. They don't have an option in the thing. And, you know, Jam's great for this thing. She has a very good memory. Some of us have been in the industry do. You know, Charlie Williams and crew had the points before, and it was called UPA, and they proceeded to beat everybody about the head and shoulders for about 4 years. They had their chance. They blew it. And I have no idea why Johnny Archer's still in camp with them. When it's all over and done with, Johnny Archer's going to be holding the bag. That's the way I look at it. And that's unfortunate.
Yeah, but you
he's
know,
a big boy.
honestly, the way I look at it right now is shit's so terrible. I mean, number one, the only people that even have any clue or care are 50 people on AZ Billiards. The players don't care.
Well, it's obvious. Well, the players don't know.
That's what I mean. And if they don't know because they don't care.
You know, I'm not going to.
They don't care about politics. They don't care
It's
about.
not about politics.
No,
it's about the process.
let me finish. They don't care about Charlie Williams. They don't care about Mark Griffin. They don't care about Barry Berman. They don't care about anything but where they're going to make their next check. And they probably shouldn't care much more about that.
To a degree.
But
yeah.
So what Charlie does is he lays all these names on this piece of paper that we all know are 90% bullshit, and then he swings it around like a big stick. And you know, I don't think anything's going to happen. I mean,
At what, U.S. Open? No, but I mean,
no, in general, because because at the end of the day, the man with the gold makes the rule, and Mike Zuglin's going to tell him to blow. You're going to tell him to blow. At the end of the day, Barry's going to tell him to blow. What are they going to do?
Well, that's not the point. The point is that.
And by they, I mean Charlie, Rodney,
whoever's on this.
Johnny, and the other 3 guys with him.
Yeah. They're damaging the integrity of the game. I know it's a damaged product, but they're just making it worse. What little credibility, it's just telling the world it's just mass chaos. And they're just trying to basically hijack everything. I mean, international. Just none of these things make even logical sense. And then they con these sponsors, and the sponsors don't know any better. I actually contacted a couple of them. They said, we didn't know, you know. You know, they got Q-Sticks and Championship Cloth and some of these other. You know, and on top of that, some of these events were scheduled directly on top of WPA events,
Yeah.
which is in complete contradiction. And so,
Devil's advocate, they schedule on top of a WPA event, but American players don't play those anyway.
but but yet they want to be representative of the points. See, it's just, you have to.
Well, I don't
walk
think
the-
that. Well, yeah, but I mean, I don't think, it's like a little kid. They want something, but they have no. They might not even know what they want.
Well,
all they know is they want the power to be able to say
well, sure.
ours are the points.
And everybody can say, well, why
but
don't
the
you know?
responsibilities they have no interest in.
But I'm one person that can tell you they do know. And I can tell you they know because my office, David Vandenberg, Bill Stock, and myself had a conference call with Dennis Walsh, Johnny Archer, Rodney Morris, and Joel Pope. This is about 2 months ago. This is over an hour conversation. I explained they had none of them knew what, even Johnny Archer didn't know points. What do they mean? I don't know. They don't mean anything. Oh no, this is connected to this and this is connected to this. Oh, well, we didn't know that. Well, it's been explained to them, but yet they completely disregard it. Well, that's unfortunate, but you have to live within the rules. I don't mind somebody going out and starting their own thing, but they're like the thread on AZ Billiards. Mike DeShane, and there was others, were lied to. They were told, you need to go to these ABP things because these are going to become BCA points. Now that's blatant lying.
Yeah, then that's...
Okay, now the damage has been done. Just like they damaged me. That's why I kind of stuck my head up a few on these threads and say, and I told Johnny Archer on the phone, you do not have my permission. You cannot associate Mark Griffin or the U.S. Open 10 ball with the ABP in any manner, shape, or form. I don't endorse them. I don't sanction them. I don't recognize them. But yet you use my event as one of your points things. Rewrite, put out a press release, correct the damage. He said he would try to take care of it. 2 days later on AZ Billiards, there's a thread from the DP News saying, go to the pool scene and follow all everything, and it had that stuff in there. I got in contact with that guy, and he took it down. He changed it.
But the ABP did nothing.
ABP did nothing. Typical. Throw the shit out there, stir it up, and that's why they have none of my respect, and they never will. Yeah. They were told. They don't even have a phone. I mean, they don't. I mean, this is what we told Dennis Walsh. I said, Dennis, you guys want to do, and they basically said, well, we just want to control the points. We don't want to run a business. That was a quote from somebody who says, well, guess what, folks? Yeah. It is a business. You have to take care of things in a business manner. And they're damaging the industry. But, the end result is there's going to be some culling out. And some of these people that are...
no, that was my...
They're going to go away.
Well, that was my point at the end of the day is it's just eventually, the ABP has no money. They put on no tournaments other than what Charlie does and slaps.
Well, those are just everybody else's tournaments.
Right. And Charlie goes in and sells them on the idea to let me put this and that on it and I'll bring you these players and whatever. It's the same song and dance, and, he runs through people. Yeah. But at the end of the day, the big events, what few there are left, it's not going to have any effect. What the ABP's? I dare the ABP to threaten to boycott somebody.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, I know.
Okay.
So, anyhow, and that's it's but there's been some good discussion on AZ Billiards, and a lot of it saying, well, what's the BCA's role? The BCA should do this, and the BCA should do that. And
what somebody should do is what somebody should do if there was any point to it, and I've considered it and talked to some people about it, is somebody needs to form a legit players organization.
And legit is the key word.
But the problem is, to do that, the players have to do more than just say, you can use my name.
Oh, no, they have to be involved.
No, they have to have skin in the game.
This ABP thing stunk from day one. They formed it at my event 2.5 years ago, and we all said, yeah, here we go again. But it has helped maybe explain and educate a few people what are the different roles. And the BCA does not have a responsibility. The BCA, Billiard Congress of America, not my BCA Pool League, but the Billiard Congress of America does not have any responsibility towards the professional players. But I think they need to get involved and help and encourage and make things happen for the professional players. Everybody's been whacked over the head with this economy, so there are some problems, and there's some, but it'll help identify some things. But the main thing is the BCA's role is tracking the player's performance and helping the WPA determine who's supposed to go to these events. It's unfortunate because, like you said earlier,
Well, if
they
they really are calling players like you said, and that's the first I've heard
I'm
of
not
that.
saying calling them, but they were told face to face.
Well,
Charlie
whatever.
Williams told more than one, these will become BCA points. Blatant lie.
Wow.
And now these guys are chasing tournaments that are 7,000 at it.
Right.
If you don't win it, you're upside down. And it's what do they call them? Zero-sum games. And that's what you got to be really careful because it's just but this turmoil will help sort some things out. I mean, it makes me think some more. I don't know. And I mean, we may get involved on a different level, but I'm not getting involved with anything until this ABP thing is either running the show or out of business.
Well,
and bonus balls.
I was going to say, come November, the ABP is going to be the last thing on anybody's mind. If the bonus ball thing goes, and by all appearances, it looks like it's going to start.
Well, less than a month away.
November 8th, Larry Shaborak put out a press release saying November 8th. I think it was Lenny or somebody was saying they're going to relaunch their new website November 1st.
No.
What?
Yeah, maybe not. Something
November
came out on
1st.
October 1st was the plan. but they
November
didn't come
1st was supposed to be their website relaunch. No word on,
out. The mechanics of it, how it's
if
structured.
it's going to be pay-per-view or free. From what I understand, a couple of posts Barry Brimmer posted, it made it sound like it's probably a mix of both.
Yeah. It's still going to be, I mean, I admire what they're trying to do. But
They still haven't announced what players are what yet, right?
well, yeah, you're right. And
I mean, I know one big name is out. I won't go into it.
well,
but
there's a lot of other ones that are getting very nervous because, you don't talk, this has been going on for how long? They were signing contracts almost, initially, was that 2
I
years
don't
ago?
know if they were signing. Were they
well,
really signing?
no.
I never saw one.
No.
I heard them talking,
They
but
were
I
giving
never.
$1,000 bonuses to the key players if they'd be captains. And that was at the U.S. Open that you went at. That
2
was
years
almost
ago.
2 years ago. And this stuff you can't just drag these things out and out. Everybody wants pool to get better. I admire what they're trying to do. Not saying I agree with everything they're trying to do, but it's their money. They can try it. And hey, if it works, pool's going to get a little shot in the arm.
No, I'm looking
Yeah.
forward to it. I mean, if nothing else, I hope it works, man. For no other reason, if they can do one season, and it will give some stability, if nothing else. It'll just, it'll at least give,
Help. It sure helps.
it'll sort things out to where, because right now, man, it's ridiculous.
It's
I
every
mean,
year it
it's
gets
just-
worse. How can it get worse? And
I don't know,
and it
but
keeps
that's
getting
the
worse.
one thing. I mean, if nothing else, I would like to see, just 6 months of bloody just consistency.
Yeah. Well, what's really
even
hard-
if it's
Well, look at us. We try to make matches, and I mean, everybody's supposed to be here and they're supposed to be there. We can't even get two players in the same city.
no.
It's just until things shake out.
And hopefully it's going to be good for us. I mean, if I was told that for TAR, and I guess every other, not just us, but the ABP, if their player is playing that week in the ABP, they can't play in anything else.
Bonus ball or ABP?
Bonus. I'm sorry. Bonus
Thank you
ball.
very much, sir.
Oh,
I'm
it's
sorry.
it's all
These people probably want me to see me slap you.
bonus ball, whatever. But if they're playing bonus ball, if they're playing that week,
They're supposed to work with us as much as they can.
they can't play in anything else. And it's not just us; it's
Yeah.
it's anything, and rightly so. It's, you wouldn't have an NFL player going to
Chuck E. Cheese. for a little show.
do something.
Yeah.
It makes total sense. But the good news is for us is they have alternating. The way I got it was the first week they have 8 teams. 8 teams. The first week they're going to do all 8 teams will play. The following week it's a 6-team schedule. So every week 2 teams have a bye. Kind of like the beginning of the NFL season.
Well, and we have an advantage too.
And what that does is it allows guys time off and this and that, and so. But this could be completely wrong, and honestly, it's
changing. They admit they're in a
I think
change.
bonus ball is just a little jelly for doing most of their PR for them,
Yeah.
good or bad. I mean, it's nobody else is talking about it.
It's
But-
interesting, though. I mean, we'll know what's going on, and we're in a unique position because if I had a good arm, we could throw a cue ball and hit their studio.
Yeah,
It's-
supposedly that their studio is going to be really cool.
12,000 feet, 12 tables. I'm baffled, but that's neither here nor there as such.
I think I think they went out and got a chunk of money, and they probably got enough to do their first season. They're going to do it. Well,
It's a
and
big chunk.
no, yeah, it's a couple $1 million anyway. Got to be.
Well, to take their payroll on it, it has to be.
Yeah.
There was a couple other questions, jumping back a little bit to the BCA rules. Somebody asked, is there, when you do a BCA, when you do a sanctioned tournament, either BCA or WPA, are there any fees? And for the BCA, which is the national level, there are not. In other words, somebody wants to sanction an event and make it a BCA points event, they can do so. They have to solicit them to approve it, but it has to have a minimum of 25,000 added. Which, by the way,
Now, do you have to seed based on BCA points, or
no,
can you seed any way you want?
You don't have to seed at all. You have to invite the top.
But if you want to seed, can you seed any way you want?
If you do any seeding, you have to use the BCA WPA list. Now that's two.
So
different
how do you
lists,
explain the way Barry does it?
I can't, because Barry's does his, and I never have been able to, because it's Barry's method. I don't agree with it,
Yeah.
but that's his business. Let him do it as he wishes. We don't seed.
Right.
Will we never seed? Will we ever seed? I could see if this industry got really matured, like tennis. Yeah, I would probably seed,
Right.
because you'd have, first of all,
If you weren't relying on dead money to fill your tournament, absolutely.
well, there aren't. If you really did a tournament of professional players, and you're not going to get 32 players.
No.
And there's a
Be
couple
tough.
of really good threads.
The way I look at it, the perfect example of that is the Seminoles 50,000 added events.
Yeah,
Rarely did they fill a field.
but sometimes it just and that's true. But if they're really professionals and they're really part of an association, they have to be to these events, and you have to grow the ranks. In other words, it was an interesting thread. In Japan, they have the JPBA, Japanese Professional Billiard Association, monthly dues.
Sure.
To be a professional player, you have to, it's kind of interesting, you have to play billiards. You have to have 630 in 3 games, which is a 210 average. It's like bowling, but on a pool table. It's a game that's been around for 100
Right.
years. Men have to hit 630, women have to hit only 420. Very interesting. That's a huge difference.
Yeah.
And that's how you determine if you're a professional. And a professional in Japan cannot play in an amateur event. Now, you might not have huge ranks.
Well, you'd have
this
no
and that.
professionals in this country then.
Oh, no.
Because everybody dumped the billiards thing.
Yeah, well, I don't agree with that. If there's a reward, they will do it. I think it just needs a cohesive, solid plan, and it can be done. But there are no sanctioning dues. You do not have to pay to be a BCA points event. You used to have to pay 5% of the added money to be a WPA event. They have changed that, and they get it somehow through the qualifiers. So they have a 96-man.
Will anybody do a WPA event in the United States?
Not unless they can get.
But I mean, is there any benefit to doing a WPA event?
I don't think so, because I think the
Other than
minimums-
locking your dates up?
Well, yeah, but
And even then, that doesn't guarantee anything.
it's not, even the U.S. Open isn't a real true WPA event as such. I think you got to have 75,000 added or something. If you want a World's tournament, it's got to be 200,000 added.
Yeah.
Except for straight pool, 75,000. So no, I don't foresee anything happening in the U.S. for quite some time. But on the bright side, there's, at our little self-plug here, at our nationals, CSI, which is BCA Pool League, and USA Pool League, are nationals that are at Rio, the Rio Hotel in Vegas, in July 17th to 27th. We're adding a third event, and there's a real good possibility it will also be a points event. So the U.S. Open 1 pocket is not. U.S. Open 10 ball is and will be, and the U.S. Open 8 ball probably will be. If we can pull it off, that'll be 60,000 added. And the interesting thing is, U.S. Open 1 pocket can't be a sanctioned event because the WPA doesn't recognize the game.
Yeah.
See, they only recognized 10 ball like 6 years ago. It was not an official game. 8 ball, straight pool, 9 ball. And so there's a procedure you have to go through. So that's all cool. It's interesting. It's going to be interesting to see how it all works out. But if you want entertaining reading, you can always go to AZ Billiards. After a while, it just overwhelms you.
I just think it's going to, nobody, they don't have the money. The AVP doesn't have the money to send anybody in. They don't have anything.
Yeah.
They got press releases.
Well,
They have no organization.
which is neither here nor there.
No, it's completely. So if they were actually organized
Well,
and stood behind what they said and were able to bring something to the table, sure, the guys would get on board and help them. But as it is, it's terrible.
What they're doing is dividing everything. They're just putting
Well,
out this
to me-
false information,
Yeah.
and then they keep saying it's. I love it. Just like Romney says, you know, I have 5 boys or something, and I've been.
Yeah, you keep
you
telling
keep
me
telling
that.
them enough times, people expect them to believe it. Well, this is the ABP's method. But it will. I'll tell you what it'll do to people like me. I won't do business with some of these people.
Well, the other thing
And
it's doing is it's pissing off fans. It's pissing off people.
pissing off the industry.
Yeah.
And they're damaging everything quite drastically. I got a phone call from somebody that was going to call, this is somebody, but when they found out that they were represented by Dragon, said, I'll just go find somebody else.
Yeah.
So it's starting to affect negatively, and that's fine. Let Charlie you guys just dig your biggest hole and go for it. And Dennis Walsh, you can give him the best wishes. I'm really upset with a professional person that doesn't counsel his people. I know he's pro bono, but as I said before, when you get affiliated with it, you have some responsibilities, or get away. And that's, so I don't know.
I don't know.
But
It's funny to me. I mean, I
in
don't.
its own way, I get emotional, but I'm not mad about anything. It's the evolution.
Yeah,
Which, by the way, I got to say something that's really nice and calming. I really appreciate probably the 27 people that are watching us. I have no idea how many, because you can either watch us or you can watch the vice presidential debate, which is going on right now. So we're pretty presidential, aren't we? So,
What else we got?
well, we did a sizzle reel. Little thing. I don't know if anybody's really.
I didn't do it.
Well,
They use the
the
studio.
facility.
Yeah.
It's called Six Pocket. It's a game similar to straight pool. It's an interesting concept. I think it has some potential to do some things. We'll see what they shake out. A sizzle reel is where you take and film who knows how much, but you end up with a 3, 4, 5 minute promotional tape that you take to potential sponsors, investors, or however. And we'll see.
I withhold comment.
That's fair.
I have a standing position on all new pool games.
Yeah, but at least this uses.
All new pool
Yeah.
games.
Well, they were all new at one time.
Whether you're involved with them or not.
Well, I'm not. I understand. Well, I will say one thing. They're going to have a championship at our nationals.
A championship for.
Well, they're going to try and put something together and see however big it is, the final championship.
If they
will
put
be-
money in, then.
There will be some. And then we're going to have the national championship for Texas Bumps, which everybody wants to know what that is, and eventually I'll tell them. We'll be doing some filming here on that. And then Pool 300. So, hey, the more the merrier, CSI, more choices for all players. As long as you're playing pool, I could care less what game you're playing. Get involved. Which is, I'm just all kinds of tidbits. Billiards Digest wrote an article that says pool numbers are down. Was there one of their editorials saying that it's gone down 20% since 2007? And it's really interesting because David Vandenberg, the guy, is so sharp. He started looking back and says, this doesn't look right. So we've got the reports from 05, 06, 07, 08, 09, whatever. And from like 6 to 7, it jumped from 35 million to 50 million. So something changed with their methodology.
How do they get that number?
If they take a survey. It's the SGMA, Sporting Goods Marketing people. But now it's declining down to where it was in 2005 or 6. But some of their stuff just doesn't even make sense. So they changed the way the survey was. And it's misleading.
But to me, the numbers that would matter is where is your league at year over year? Where is your national tournament at year over year? Where's the APA at year over year?
That's not what it counts. How many people play?
Yeah, but that doesn't matter.
And they considered what their ages are, and do you play 13 times a year or more? They had criteria.
I mean, I might hit some golf balls at a range somewhere. That don't mean I'm a golfer.
I understand.
I'll never buy a golf club.
And that's.
I mean.
Well, you can get a used one from Tiger Woods.
Yeah. Maybe his Escalade. Yeah. But. I mean, to me, I've always had a problem with that, and I know the study you're talking about, and they throw these millions of people.
Well, there's something really flawed in their report, and we'll be contacting Billiards Digest because maybe they can look into it. Because
to me, that number's always struck me as a way for people to sell, either trying to sell the industry. That number's as much of a marketing slogan as anything else.
Remember, they're not just measuring pool; they're measuring every
Right.
every activity.
But that's like saying, okay, do you drive a car? Do you drive a car?
Yeah.
Would you at some point like to buy a new car?
Well, sure.
There you go.
I understand. That's okay.
So,
I mean,
so you're a new car buyer.
well, but it's just interesting that that's the second article I've read on how far pool's dropping off, but it didn't jump up 25% in 1 year back in 2005 or 6 or 7 or whatever it was. So something changed in the way they took the survey. So who knows? That's just I'm just reporting what I'm reading. You know.
Tar matches, just been crazy, man. We can't get two people in the same place at the same time.
Yeah.
Hopefully that's something with the bonus ball thing. Like I said, it'll bring some stability, settle it down. Right, this part of the year is crazy for international play.
Well, they're supposed to go back to China for. There's 2 events going on in the Philippines. Excuse me, I said China in the Philippines. There's a lot of turmoil. You think our politics are ugly?
Yeah, at least nobody's getting shot over here.
Go to the Philippines. The tables are actually there for the event to happen, and 2 parties won't agree, so there's no tables. So therefore, there's no event. There's a real good possibility this next one will not happen too, and then there's a real good possibility that the WPA and all these other bodies say, if you guys, it's all about pool. If you guys are going to stop each other from doing your event, how about we just don't do any more events in the Philippines? And it's this whole thing is shaking out from the first time Macabena did an event, Puyat and those guys boycotted it. You probably remember they wouldn't let Efren play. They wouldn't let. See, and I don't care if you disagree with things, but now that's coming around to bite everybody. Now the 2 groups can't even talk to each other. They're withholding this and withholding that, and pretty soon the only
but it's
events will happen because they're a one-table event. But the logistics.
I understand it, but at the same time, look, if somebody fucks you over and you feel like you've been wronged, or if you feel like somebody steals from you, are you going to do business with them?
Well, but I'm not saying I don't know the facts, but all I know is you get a sanctioning body that says, yes, we will allow you to have the world championship,
but
and then they do this infighting. And
well, then how come you and Charlie Williams don't have a tournament together?
Well, I can't do business with him.
Anybody else catch that?
Well,
so what is it?
He's not stopping me from doing an event. He's not. If I was to be sanctioned, he's not stopping me from doing an event. Over there, they're stopping each other from doing an event.
Well, I mean, if he tells his players not to come to your event, he could.
Doesn't make any difference to me, really. I'm to the point that if the ABP threatens me, then they'll all be banned. Now it's not a problem.
Mm-hmm.
And you have to understand, we're in a very unique situation, kind of somewhat like Zugland. I don't charge a gate anymore. The VIP seats I do, but from now on, because I'm trying to make
events all free.
Pro events free. You can't hurt my gate. There is no gate.
Right.
I'm adding the money because I think there's value in making the pros and the amateurs be in the same room and have interaction. And I'm going to work with 8 or 10, whatever, really good, solid pros. We're going to raffle off to be a Scotch doubles partner with them.
Mm-hmm.
Half the money will go to the kids' BEF and our junior programs. The other half will go in prizes. Make deals where they'll be available for 1 and 2 hour seminars to our players. And those are the ones that we'll support.
Sure.
I'm just because you're the number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 player. If you act like a jerk, I'm done. I'm not going to do business with you.
Yeah.
You could be the 28th ranked player.
But I thought you wanted everybody to get along, man.
I'm getting along with everybody.
Well, you want everybody to get along, grow the game.
I'm growing the game.
How come you're sitting there talking about banning people, man?
I'm not going to ban them unless they take the first swing. I'm not going to.
That's fine. Yeah. So the next time, I just want this on record. So the next time he tries to tell me to try to get along with somebody that fucked me over, I can tell him. What did you say?
You have to replay it.
Yeah.
Well, it'll take a week for you to find it by then.
Why can't you work with this guy? You should all get along.
Yeah. It's a real problem. It is. I mean, pool's supposed to be a fun game. It's just gotten so ugly lately. But that's okay. The amateurs, I'm having fun, okay? These guys, they can, whatever everybody says, ooh, but I have certain principles, and that's why I write letters every once in a while. It's no big deal. Don't want them, don't read them.
I'm just dead curious how this bonus ball thing's going to work. I'm seriously. I mean, I'm
Well, I am too, because we've talked about
it's
it a
less than
bunch
a
of
month
times.
away.
Yeah.
It's less than a month away, and the logistics of it fascinate me. As somebody who puts things together, I mean,
Well, I thought you tore them apart. I'm sorry.
okay, I can do that shit too.
Yeah, what you're saying is,
32 players,
well, that's
8 teams of 4, and it's more than that because you got to have subs.
well, they originally were going to be up to 48 players.
And
Right, they
and
expanded,
now,
at
like,
$1,000
and I know for a fact that one guy who they were saying was a captain that they were counting on to be a captain of a team and organize a team isn't involved anymore. Just he's doing something else, and he just said that I can't commit that much time. So
well, moving to Vegas for approximately 6 months is a pretty big commitment.
well, you almost have to move because you can't fly.
You eat up your bankroll real fast.
They pay and I'm sure, and all this stuff's subject to change, man. I mean,
Well,
I don't even know if they got their guys under contract yet because they haven't announced what
there's
players or
always
what.
issues because the players drag their feet. They say, "Yeah, I'll send it tomorrow," and you won't see them for 2 weeks. They got some real issues, and is it going to happen? Who knows?
I think something will happen. It would not surprise me at all to have some kind of, to November 8th, be another press release or video release or something like that, or exhibition match. That wouldn't surprise me. I don't know. But I mean, looking at it, it's like, I mean, it's fascinating to me. It's like if somebody gave me $2 million and said, you have to do X, Y, Z, even with the money, I don't know if it's doable.
This model is tough. See, it's all about an income stream.
Right,
And
exactly.
And anybody can spend $2 million. That's fun.
Oh, sure, absolutely. That's why I said that's the fun part.
But making it turn around and come back, that's double tough.
And I've seen quotes several places where principals Barry Bremer has said, "Look, we know we're going to lose money in the beginning," and it's like, and I've seen other things. They know they're going to take it on the head for the first year, maybe 2. But and honestly, to have any kind of shot, it seems to me like something like that, because you're trying to start a new professional sports league. Call it soccer, call it golf, call it whatever you want to call it.
Little arena football and all the other things.
Exactly.
Yeah, nope.
And that's kind of really pretty much the kind of money they're talking about, I guess. As far as player salaries and stuff. I mean, $1,000 a week's not a lot of money for professional anything. I mean, it's more than obviously anybody else.
You're like West Coast and East Coast hockey leagues. Your
got
cap was like $22,000 a year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I mean.
But it's a short season. It's not a full year season.
But that's minor leagues. We're talking about the best players in the world.
Well, that's true. But it's a professional, but it's a minor league professional thing. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know what the 51s are, which is a semi-pro ball. I don't know what they get, but it's probably in that range.
But I mean, all the expenses, everything is included, and it's just, man, I just don't see how it works.
Well, I wish them the best, but I mean,
I just hope they got the money to do the first season. If they can do the first season and pull it off and do everything, and not 3 months in go, oh, we're going to take a 2-month break and go out and try to find more money. If they do have, and who knows what the hell they have. They may not have anything. They may have everything. I mean,
totally
nobody
agree.
knows.
Well, it's not our business to know.
Yeah.
I mean, it's created.
No, I mean, I'm interested just as a fan.
Yeah. Well,
I mean, as
interested
a pool
because
fan, because here's this big giant league that's supposed to change the face of everything.
well, it will never change the face of everything.
Well, that's what.
Amateur leagues still playing 8-ball and 9-ball and 10-ball, whatever, but it has the opportunity.
Let me finish. I'm telling you I'm telling you how they're presenting it. Okay, that's what they're saying, right? It's going to change the way professional pool is viewed, But there's no information about it. And it launches in less than 30 days. Right?
Supposed to.
No. Do you want to make up your own tangent to go off on? Talk about Alaska? Or?
We should talk a little bit about Alaska. It's freezing in Alaska. It was 30 degrees last night in Anchorage, Alaska.
Congratulations.
Yeah. It's 68 degrees today in Las Vegas. It was 95 degrees 4 days ago, but you know, it's all the weather's fault. It's been raining all day. You probably noticed that.
And K-Town here said he saw that it was 2 weeks on, 2 weeks off, which would make sense if your team has a bye. You know, you do your bye weeks back to back, so you.
That'd be great. Now,
Which
players
actually
can
would make
go
it
home.
2 weeks on. You have 2 weeks back to back off. How would that work? So you'd have to play 3 weeks. So it'd be 2 off, 3 on.
You can always fix schedules.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. You know, I mean, so there's an awful lot going on in the pool world. But none of it's solid. It's all speculative. U.S. Open is probably the biggest thing, and it's going to go forward and happen. I really hope that the Filipinos can get their shit together. But I don't think they're going to.
I don't care about international events. I
Well,
really
you know,
don't.
I
never
agree.
have.
Well, you don't. Not
I
change-
can, most
this
of
is
the
not
time I
change-
can't watch them. You know, I can't go to
Well,
them.
yeah. Well, but now,
You know, who gives a shit?
4 years ago, I took a survey. We were starting some things. And I went to the U.S. Open. We passed out this survey, and there was a couple of key questions. Do you want rack your own? Do you want the tour?
I remember the
play 10
survey.
Okay. And one of the questions was, should this association? Number one, is a professional association needed? And resoundingly, like 80%, 85%, whatever, said yes. And then one of the next questions was, should it be for just American players, just North American, or completely international? And almost everybody said completely international. That always perplexed me because the American players need shoring up. The professional players in this country need shoring up because I'm not a professional player, obviously, but speaking as a selfish professional player, if I was in the U.S., why do I want the Efrons of the world to come over and take all the money?
No, I agree.
Because the Americans 5 years ago, oh, well, we can beat anybody. You know what, fellas? You can't.
Not anymore.
Not anymore. And they should say, yeah, we need an American professional association.
I agree.
And I'm agreeing, and actually I put that question there because that's how I felt 4 or 5 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Because we're creating a machine, and the bucket's got a hole in it. The money's all leaving.
Yeah, the money all goes somewhere else.
Yeah.
And it's college, you know, there's, I don't know. Yeah, that makes sense to me. Who's going to pay for it?
Yeah.
If you can answer that question, you can do anything.
Oh, absolutely. You can own a pool. I've always said it takes $2 million, but if you can say if you just convince everybody how to pay for it, you can do it for nothing.
Well, yeah. Well, it's just you don't even you just find something that makes money. Yeah, I mean that's
But you know,
that's
I'm
the
a firm
problem.
believer that pool, there will be something that has some substance, and this is just,
Sure, it's called amateur pool.
No, I think there's going to be a second level. This Japanese concept is awesome, and actually I think the six pocket it could be used as a very good tool. And we're playing with an idea, and I'm not going to go into it because it's way too rough. But if it gets traction, it's a hell of an idea.
So you just told us
Just
that you have an idea, but you're not going to tell
That's
us what the
exactly-
idea
because
is.
it's too rough, and everybody say, "Oh,
He
well,
does. This is what I live with, man.
But wait a minute,
Every day.
No,
It's like, oh, wait. I got an idea. Well, no, I don't have time to talk about it. Call me real quick. I don't have time to talk right now. How do you do this? How do you do this? Well, I don't have time to hear that.
It's not that bad, Justin. No, it's not.
So I'm glad that you have an idea
I do.
that you can't share with us.
Not yet.
Thank you for putting that out there.
Well, it's not just me. I have to consider other individuals.
I, too, have an idea I'm not going to tell you about.
Really, I don't believe you. You know, other than the U.S. Open, you've got Turning Stone coming up fairly soon. The One Pocket in Arizona. The Jay Swanson Memorial is going to be February.
Dude, in like 15 minutes, it'll be Christmas.
I know.
And then it'll be Derby,
Then
Reno.
Derby, and Jay Swanson and Reno.
Yeah. And then 15 minutes later, well, we get
Then
an
we'll
extra
be-
month. We get an extra month.
This Rio thing is. You think I got gray hair now?
Yeah, we got an extra
Holy
month. Instead of May, you
crap.
got July. So,
Yeah. This is going to be an awesome event. We got some things.
what's the
reaction?
reaction been to, people hear July in Vegas and they automatically go, "Ah,"
Well,
not realizing that it's
We have
72
contact-
degrees in every hotel. So.
we have contacted every league operator. We have actually gained a few leagues coming back. We have lost, I'm going to say, 5 leagues because of the time frames.
Yeah.
That's not a tremendous amount. It's unfortunate, and they may change their mind.
Think you'll see more kids?
You mean because the kids can
Summertime,
come-
right in the middle.
Well, that might be part of it. And the Rio is a pet friendly.
Pet friendly?
So that means I can bring you.
Thanks. Talking about kid, and he goes right to pets. Good job. Bring your pets and your kids.
I'm just looking forward because it's going to be a cool experience. I just hope we survive it.
Yeah.
I mean, it was at the Riviera for 19 years. I didn't own it for 19 years, but when we bought the league, it was there. We just walked in and
Sure.
had to kind of move this and move that. Now we got to build a whole new house, and it's pretty daunting.
And new relationships.
Yeah, it's
Riv had a real good crew, people to work with.
the mid-level guys, the ones we worked with, were
Right,
great.
yeah, year
Some of
after
their upper
year.
level made you question the judgments.
I never fooled with
Well,
those. I mean, I dealt with the guys on the floor.
They took away the splash bar, so how much smarts does that show?
Exactly. Yeah.
And the food options got to be very bad. But I love the people there. And
Yeah, that's the good thing about the Rio, man. 2
14.
solid buffets.
14 choices. You can go next door to the Gold Coast. You can go down to the Palms. You can do buffet. It's going to be a lot of fun. I hope you come out and check it out. And then Justin and I had some really interesting discussions, but we can't tell anybody about them yet.
Would you stop?
I want to say that these aren't all just my discussions.
You just trying to piss people off?
No, I wanted to know that sometimes we do these things together that we can't talk about.
That's so funny, man.
That bad, huh?
Yeah.
I don't,
Tune in to where we tell you all the shit we can't talk to you about.
Yeah, that's the X-rated version. I don't have anything more to talk about. Anything on the if people want to chit chat? I mean, this was just I pushed and says we got to have one just to make our presence known.
I guess Boosty and Efren are streaming from Hard Times. Is that what it
Again
was?
tonight? They were the other night.
They
Hard Times
was
in
it? Is it?
Sacramento.
Where's Andy's streaming? Is it this weekend?
The Chuck Markoulis.
Is it this weekend?
Yeah, and see, that's the bad thing about Trace Kane's One Pocket. They bumped into each other. And when Trace was asking about it, nobody told him that the Markoulis was that weekend.
Oh, that
because
sucks.
there's a lot of One Pocket players up there in the Sacramento area. And that's probably cost them 10 players.
Well, yeah, but Efren, all those guys
They
are in
came
town.
over here because of Markoulis, because they
Right.
were really good
Yeah,
friends
so
with
if you
him.
would have done it maybe a week
I know
before, maybe you get from
it's really a sad scheduling mess, but it was from lack of communications.
right.
And maybe Markoulis' people just didn't know. And that's still the Markoulises that own the Sacramento Hard Times. But I heard Efren was spotting some shortstop, whatever, 10-6 or 10-5, 10-6, 10-6, 10-7s, and running 9s and 10s. You got to love it.
Yeah.
Well, Steve Davis said he's going to try and play professionally until he's at least 60. He's 55. I personally think you can. The game, it's a finesse game. You may not make some of these crackerjack shots and stuff because of the young eyes and everything, but you can wiggle your way around and find a way to win. Age is not the deterrent. It's art.
I just want you to remember one thing.
Uh-huh.
Okay. The game is the teacher, Mark.
Thank you, CJ.
The game is the teacher.
Yeah, he's been rather.
Listen to your heart.
Don't have one. Didn't
Listen
you
to
know
the
that?
cue ball.
Oh, be the cue ball. No,
CJ's been going off like a rocket.
he's been a pretty busy boy.
Like a rocket.
He discovered a keyboard. And
That's
some of
that's exactly what it looks like to
Some
me.
of his stuff is pretty cool. Some of it's a little. It sounds like I'm reading something I wrote, which is scary. At times.
Presentation's a bit odd on certain things.
But hey, more power to him. Trigger, Trigger, Melinda Bailey started a tour down there in Texas, the Omega tour with the Michael Huang from Omega between Fort Worth
Yeah,
and
yeah.
First
That's
event, 64.
that's good. Michael's
She's got-
good people,
and
man.
so is Trigger, and they
Yeah,
got a
so
good
is-
little
yeah,
thing
absolutely,
going,
absolutely.
And, she's one of my favorite people because
Yeah.
I'm her favorite CEO. She says
Oh,
every
that's
time
good.
How cool is that? Last time I really saw her, we went over to Fat Boys on her birthday. Remember, you were there.
Yeah, that was a couple years ago.
Yeah.
No, definitely. That's a good teamwork too, because she knows how to do shit. Not just talk about it, but she follows through.
She's going to be on the square. Everything's going to be.
Yeah.
And it has a handicap.
And with Michael, in Omega, Mike's the same way. His word's gold.
Yep. So there are bright spots. It's not all gloom and doom.
No, and that's I think. Well, one thing I've been talking to Mark about, and it's something I'm a total mark for, is this USA Pool League. We just need, and that's something I'm working on now. I'm working on some videos to explain to people what it is and the benefits of it, not just for the amateur guy looking to go have fun on the weekends, but to the game of pool as a whole, because it's the first vehicle that actually funds something beyond just,
Well, it funds
trophy.
the amateurs too. 50% of
That's
the
what I
money
mean.
goes back to the amateurs.
But it also, to me, it goes back to structure, because I can see it. It's not laid out that way right now, but you could very easily, you could see somebody go into the USA Pool League as, a rank amateur, and by the time they're finished, they could go all the way up to a professional level.
Absolutely.
I mean, cradle to grave.
All one
And
program.
one thing, and it's a path, and it's, and it's, it just, it makes so much. It's the only thing I've seen, and I'm the most cynical prick in the world, and it's the only thing I've seen
You're
that
the
makes
biggest one, too.
that too. But it's the only thing I've seen that makes any sense, because it funds itself. You're not reliant on some white knight throwing in a bunch of money.
It's got a good handicap
The
system.
infrastructure's in place. It's not reliant on, well, all we need is somebody to give me a computer and I can start putting this together. It's all there. It's there. We just have to.
Yeah, you couldn't do it standalone. The only reason it can function is because we already have the BCA pool,
Right.
and everything is there. And we're slowly growing, but Justin's right. It is the complete thing. And if anybody has any questions, you can go to our website.
And I'm
or our
starting
Facebook site.
starting to work on the Facebook page, and I'm trying to get some content together. But honestly, I really believe that it's the future, and if it's not that, it'll be something like it. I'm not saying it's got to be only this or that, but it has to be something with that structure that feeds itself, that is
Well, I
not
agree.
reliant on
I
outside
do.
money.
After running the BCA leagues for 5 years, we formally said, we've got to get something that can work with the industry and make it happen.
And not
This is
only
what we
that,
came
as
with,
a league operator, and this to me is the goal. I mean, it's the reason why the APA is successful. Their league operators have incentive to grow their league. By growing their league, they grow the game. So you have to incentivize people. As it sits, like the BCA Pool League, because people always ask what's the difference between USAPL and BCAPL. The BCA Pool League, they pay a sanctioning fee, and the league operator can charge whatever he wants for a week.
Yeah.
So if like a lot of BCA leagues are in-house leagues, so it's a guy. He's got his 6-8 teams. He has no desire to do any more because they all play at his place. So he has no incentive to grow beyond where he's at. Whereas because he doesn't make any money, off
he
of
gives it all. He's structured it.
to pay it all back to the players or Vegas or whatever.
Yeah.
So there's nothing built in for him, and he does it for no other reason than to get guys in his bar and buy his beer. But whereas the APA, and since they're league operators, they get X amount of money per team per week, which is good. All the money shouldn't go back to the players, because then you have nothing, because no one will do the work.
And that's the foul. That's exactly right. That's what's wrong with this industry.
Yeah.
Go to Europe and play in the EPPF. They only pay out like 35% of everything goes in, comes back out in prizes.
Yeah. Well, because if you want structure, if you want
It costs money
yes,
to make
exactly.
structure.
And if you want things to grow, and if you want new opportunities, that doesn't just come from nowhere. So
And it doesn't come from sponsors either.
no.
You have to self-support.
And to me, that's why, the USAPL, it incents the league operator to go out and grow his league. And it's a protected territory to where somebody can't just come in next door to you and say, hey, blah, 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 and screw you out of it. No, it doesn't work that way.
Well, it's an exclusive territory,
Yeah.
but unlike some of the others, this is not a franchise. It's a license.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't cost anything.
Right.
If you want to become a league operator in a couple of the other ones, you have to write a check, and a big check. That's not the case here. We're growing. We started the new league started up in Shreveport last night. Roy Pastor's doing quite well out in the Massachusetts, into Connecticut, in that area.
And I mean, that's something I wouldn't mind starting up, or even making it the focus of our podcast more, even so than TARS. Like I said, man, I am 100% jihadi for this USA Pool League. I'm a firm believer in it. And it's, you look around pool and the only thing that works is the amateurs. It's the only thing that works. It's the only thing making money. And, you know, I'm diehard for, you know, the pro game. That's what I love. I mean, that's why I'm sitting here. And to me, there's only one way to build anything of substance in the pro game, and that's you have to have, it has to be a triangle. You know, you have to have a wide base before you get to the top.
You have to have a relationship between the
amateurs and the pros.
And you look at the other leagues, particularly APA.
Right.
They just don't care. They don't do it.
And the thing of, like right now, you know, I don't. I like to think you could put something together in 5 years, if you had the right, you know, if you had a plan. I mean, I mean, I hope you could put it together in 5 years.
I'm not sure.
I mean, I think, you know,
this is a long road.
Well, with all the groundwork you've already got laid.
Yeah.
You know, because you've already got what, 3 years in this thing.
Well, yeah, but a lot of that was trial and error too.
Right, but I mean, so that's why I'm saying I think there's a legitimate shot that in 5 years you could build something where you're talking about a professional tour in conjunction with an amateur league.
Absolutely.
That
could happen.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, because, you know, literally, if you had, our amateur base is 60,000 members. If we had 20,000 in the USA Pool League, it would now fund all the amateur stuff, some professional stuff. And when you start getting these packages together, then you have a viable tool to really get sponsorship.
And sell, right.
And now you have a product.
Mm-hmm.
These others don't have products. I mean, there's a lot of the other leagues have gotten sponsors. They keep them for a year or two. Doesn't do them any good because there's no, it's not, that's not their goal. No, I'm excited about how it's going, you know, and we're making progress. It's just, you know, and we have the BCA Pool League is still trucking along, and I don't know. We're trying, and you know that. You come out to the office.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm there 12 hours a day. I enjoy it. It's not like I'm killing myself.
But definitely look for more on the USA Pool League.
Yep.
Like I said, it's a good thing, man.
Okay.
It really is.
Well, thank you, sir.
Well,
heard from the man.
Anything else you can't tell us about?
No, I don't think so. What I'm going to do is I'm going to get out of here. We're going to go eat or not eat. No, I'm not. I'm going to go home and I'm going to watch because it rains, so my wife can't go play tennis. Poor baby. Poor baby.
Is it flooded out there?
It doesn't have to be flooded, but it's wet.
No, but I mean, is it flooded out there?
I don't know. I don't know which courts they were playing on.
No, here, the streets.
No.
Oh, okay.
No. It's actually just been drizzling.
Because sometimes when it rains here, man,
man,
it's like it's complete washout.
Well, they say flash floods. They mean it. I mean, the guy got
yeah.
killed. He was on a backhoe.
Yeah.
I mean, they couldn't even find him for 3 days.
It's nasty.
Yeah. But
so what are you going to watch? The debates?
The presidential debates.
Yeah.
And Mitt Romney did quite the job on Mr. Obama. Let's see what happens with Mr. Ryan and.
I just want Joe Biden to say something stupid.
Well,
I figure I'm like 100% chance.
Exactly. I don't know that much about Ryan, but Biden
I don't either.
He can be a mouthful at times.
Yeah. I don't know. It's rapidly coming up. What's the line? I mean, I don't even know what the line is.
I think it's tightening up. You know,
I mean, I'm talking about the betting line, Vegas line on the elections.
I don't even. I'll bet you they're not taking them yet. Well, they probably do.
Have to.
But it's tightening up. It's tightening up. I think it's going to be a horse race. You know, 2 weeks ago they had Obama had like 4, 5, 6, 7 points. I didn't believe it. Someone had 15 points. I didn't believe it. But after that debate, I mean, Obama just should have been somewhere else. It was his anniversary. That could have been. But I mean, his wedding anniversary. But
you didn't say anything about my shirt, man.
I make my mom post, yes, by Big Nasty.
That's vintage, man.
I know. Well, you're a vintage guy.
That's old school. Maybe someday we'll start selling T-shirts again as soon as I can teach Mark how to ship them.
Blame it on me.
Yeah.
Well, I get all the heat, none of the meat. Listen, we appreciate everybody coming in. Hopefully we answered a few of your questions. Tried to explain things on the BCA and the WPA, and if you need any more information on that stuff, send me an email and include your phone number. I am not writing this stuff down. That's a 4-page email. And you know, I'll answer. And if I'm gonna be in Arizona, if you want to argue about stuff, we can argue.
Mark likes nothing more than to spend 2, 3, 4, 5 hours out of his day talking to random people about shit that was posted on the internet.
Not really. But yeah, I mean,
But yeah.
I just think education's key. And, you know, but I'll tell you what, there's a couple of great posts. There's a limit to intelligence, but the limit to stupidity is boundless.
Yeah,
You know, and there's, oh, well. What, did you hear about the guy at JOB's?
No.
Oh, you didn't, you missed the post. It's the funniest.
Actually, I've been spending a lot of
It's a
time on
funny
AZ
post,
lately.
But the guy was playing in JOB's. It was a diamond table, and he was playing a girl, and the girl started beating him. He pulled his dick out and pissed in all 4 pockets. You know, this is a true story. And
Sounds like a joke.
no, I thought, and they were saying, oh, it's APA. And it turns out it was actually a BCA player. But, but the funny thing is, so what does APA mean? And somebody says, APEEA. You know, and so
APA.
well, because they said it was APA, so APA. And there's, come on, the thread is hilarious. But anyhow, we admitted it was a BCA player, and as soon as we discovered that, he has been barred from
Good.
the pool hall, he's been barred from the league. And
Who thinks that's a good idea? I mean,
why
you
don't
got to
you just
be
go to-
hammered.
why
I
don't
mean,
you
you got to
go to
be,
jail?
yeah, you got to be hammered to think up some shit like that.
It's
Wow.
just crazy.
What's your sandwich story?
my sandwich.
Wait, yeah, this is
Oh, no.
this is top shelf here, folks.
Oh, man.
Tell them your Patty Hearst sandwich story.
See, you gave it away. Well, we were here.
No, I guarantee I didn't. You're gonna have to explain it.
Well, we were here the other day doing a sizzle reel, and one of the guys says, well, what's the beef? And, of course, that's the old ad from Burger King.
Where's
something.
the beef?
Where's the beef? Okay.
Yeah.
From the little old lady and everything. I said, well, that's nothing. We used to call it the Hearst burger. And so everybody looks at me funny, says, well, you remember back in my day, 1970 or so, Patty Hearst was kidnapped. So you get a hamburger and you say, Patty's missing. You know, it's an old joke. You know, what do you expect?
Say goodnight, Mr. Griffin.
Good night, Mr. Griffin.
See you next week, guys.
Have fun. Vote.